Okay, so I've decided that on my birthday soon, yeah, I spent a lot of time in hospital this week, is I'm gonna just do a final playlist just for me, for the elusive Homo sapien. If there's any other Homo sapiens who come upon it, feel free to comment on it. But for now, I'll continue in my series. So this is democracy. Yes, the elites of today would love for their constituents or citizens to believe democracy is just something you can exercise in your time of election. And then the debates that may or may not even come, including the public, during these times of election. And the thing is, though, is democracy is more than that. So peaceful protest is a stronger, is a more active, and it's a more respectable form of democracy than just going to put a thing anonymously and think you're a powerful person during election time. You're not a powerful person. An adult, if you want to see it that way, is somebody that will engage in peaceful protests, and pretty much every country of the world should continuously have some. There's no country of the world that has not been invaded by their own elites, and who often pretend they lead in democracies when it's not even close to democracy. So in this G7 or 6 or whatever you want to call it, 8 or whatever you call yourselves, is the main theme should definitely not just be what you're moving away from, the reality of the scientific paradigms, but you're moving away from reality with the economic ka-ching paradigms, which is magical, and the religious. And I hate hearing that there's less religious people in the world. No, there's more and more people, as my theory predicted, programmed with supernatural nonsense beliefs and thinking. There's more. I don't know who. I would challenge anybody to debate, anybody, Sam Harris, whoever, to say, hey, no, where do you get your data that you want to believe there's false hope in this thing where people are getting more rational, but and less religious? Because they might be less religious in the sense that they're lazy to practice their supernatural beliefs or share them, but they're not getting any smarter or any more rational or logical. They're not moving towards the scientific paradigm. They're moving towards the supernatural sets of beliefs and the magical ka-ching, just like you are, Sam Harris, I would say, or anybody else that's there that has more money than their family needs. You know what I'd like to see is cut all supply chains. And if you're so proud of your land, make use of your land to find what you need in it, instead of this trade that has just led to a global slavery system where the elites are making you believe that's there. Anyways, getting back to peaceful protests. So I think at the G7 meeting here in Canada, there should be, do we agree that democracies allow peaceful protests and that the only people arrested should be those that are violent at the peaceful protest, and that includes the police? Because, for example, if the police cause injuries in people that did not engage in violent acts, they should be arrested. If you're a democracy, if you want to follow the rule of law, there and often it's not self-defense, right? There was no violence towards them directly or indirectly. And when everything is being videotaped, it's pretty easy to gather your evidence. Come on. So police officers or guards or whatever, they have their own frustrations with the world the elites is devolving us further into. So definitely they'll be wanting to vent. But peaceful protests that are well organized, whether people got in there or not with bad intentions, is there few. And they, you can arrest them if you see them being violent. But if you see anything that is the state or the nation interrupting these protests with things that are dangerous and that are likely or that do cause death or injuries in the peaceful protesters, then yes, they have to be. That's what the rule of law means. And democracy is not, put a little notch on a piece of paper once every 4 years, because in 4 years, things can happen where it's too late, and democracies and elections don't even mean anything 4 years later. So, of course, democracy means do something. And those are the adults, the peaceful protesters, no matter what age they are. The adult children are the elites who kind of contradict themselves in everything they do and have the wrong conversations because they don't want to have the right conversations. Otherwise, they wouldn't be elites anymore. So again, please, people, again, Canada's not the worst place in the world, but I can tell you that yesterday, Friday the 13th, that Carney and his government, is no different than any other government before or after or that could have been, in the sense that they're not saying the right things in regards to Israel, for example, the Zionists, and they're not saying the right thing about what's happening in geopolitics or world order, and because nobody wants to have the courage or to deviate the status quo, and everybody thinks they're smarter than the other dumb, who is really not. You're all pretty much dumb. You're all adult children. There's no real big difference among you. When you don't have the right conversations in the right way, and when you have opportunities to do it and you don't, I'm sorry, I can't really take you seriously. I could wear the suit you want me to wear, and I could meet any of you, and the first thing I would say is, I don't think your judgment is at levels that I can take you seriously in your role, right? I mean, maybe you'd want to meet me because of a book I wrote or whatever, or you want my advice on something, but I don't think you're smart enough to apply my advice. So I'm just here maybe because you gave me a free ride and I wanted to go visit an independent scientist somewhere else while I was in your hometown or in the city or in the capital or something like that. It has nothing to do with your nonsense. And of course, all this nonsense leads to not just this leader or that leader, but all the ones that are powerful enough to be able to have the right conversations that don't. You're responsible for World War III. It could have been stopped if you decided, hey, let's act like grown-ups, because only children have guns, own guns or manufacture guns or make profits with guns or anything related to violence or war. And then it's funny how, oh no, we were supposed to do peaceful debates because some of us elites died at the hand of guns, but we're a proud gun proto-society, and we're going to invest in defense and military, and we're strong and swear that way. What makes you strong in my eyes, you don't possess. Human thinking tools of an Homo sapien who has undergone the human maturation process, who has self-actualized to become consistently connected to reality, able to see themselves objectively, see the world objectively, move more and more towards the scientific paradigm, and is brave enough and grown up enough for the right conversations.